Well, with tens of thousands of Russian troops still massed along the Ukrainian border, the U.S. and Russia are set to hold security talks next week. President Biden spoke yesterday with his Ukrainian counterpart, reportedly telling him the U.S. will, quote, respond decisively if Russia invades again, as it did in 2014. Florida Republican Congressman Michael Waltz was in the region last month. He knows a lot about this. He joins us now. Just want to play for you a little bit of what President Biden said just last week.
I'm not going to negotiate here in public, but we made it clear that it cannot, emphasize cannot, move on Ukraine. Thank you.
Do you think Russia is listening to that?
Yeah, Dana, the fundamental approach and the fundamental flaw in the president's approach is that he continues to tell the world and to tell Putin what he will do after Russia invades, that we will respond decisively after they invade. I mean, that's like, telling the Ukrainians that is kind of like in World War II telling Poland or France what we were going to do after Germany invaded. Or now even, it's like telling Taiwan and China what we'll do, that we'll take decisive action after China invades, or Iran after they launch a nuke. We need to be making steps now for deterrence now to prevent Putin from taking that drastic step, and that includes a dramatic increase in arms and equipment to the Ukrainians and sanctions in place now, including on the Nord Stream 2 pipeline, which is exactly why he's doing this when he's doing it.
So you were there last month, and yesterday President Biden spoke to Zelensky. What I keep reading is that President Biden says that Russia will pay a heavy price if. So to your point, this is an after-action effect. Listen to what Adam Schiff said. Of course, he's the Democrat on Intel in the House. Watch.
I think that it would require enormous sanctions on Russia to deter what appears to be a very likely Russian invasion of Ukraine again. And I think our allies need to be solidly on board with it. Russia needs to understand we are united in this.
I just get the sense that there's not a sense of urgency. When you're talking about like maybe getting allies together to focus on huge sanctions,
right.
I mean, that's the kind of thing that takes a long time to put in place, and we might not have that much time.
And again, the fundamental flaw here is that you have to have consensus for sanctions to really work. They have to be in both dollars and euros. And with the Nord Stream 2 pipeline coming on, which will create a dependency for Germany, the main country that you need for sanctions to actually work, I don't think the Europeans are going to be on board for this tough action like the United States is claiming they will be, because we allowed Nord Stream 2 to come into place, and now in the middle of winter, they'll be dependent on cheap Russian gas for their energy security. It's not going to work.
Congressman, let me also just ask you, we had a chance on Fox and Friends this morning to speak to the family of Lance Corporal Kareem Nikui. He was killed by the suicide bomber outside the airport in Afghanistan during that chaotic withdrawal. Take a listen to what they said this morning.
We were able to keep our son alive, more importantly, Shanna, for the last 20 years. Then he goes and joins the military to serve our country, and our country can't protect him.
We start this new year. What do you think is important for us to remember in terms of getting justice for those 13 that died, but also to continue to help those who still want to get out?
Well, those Gold Star families, and I've spoken to several of them, are incredibly upset. There's a level of grief, Dana, that you would expect, but this level of anger that they have, they truly feel like the worst of the worst, that their loved one died in vain, should not have been where they were in protecting an airport and sitting in a city of 4 million people. And the fact that the suicide bomber that killed them was released from Bagram Air Base prison just weeks before is just a punch in the gut for them. And it also shows it undercuts this narrative that the Taliban will work with us against ISIS, kind of good terrorist against bad terrorist. When it comes to attacking the United States, all terrorists are aligned. And this is just case in point. An ISIS suicide bomber infiltrated through Taliban lines who had promised us they would protect that airport. And we now have 13 dead soldiers and Marines.
And we will not forget. Thank you, Congressman. We'll talk to you, and Happy New Year to you.
Okay. Thank you, Dana.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.